I'm going to start with a story. On a cold January, a 43-year-old man was sworn in as the chief executive of his country. By his side stood his predecessor, who was a famous general, and who 15 years earlier had commanded his nation's armed forces in a war that resulted in the defeat of Germany. This young leader was raised in the Roman Catholic faith, spent the next 5 hours watching parades in his honor, and stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning celebrating. Who am I talking about? The year is January 30th, 1933, and I'm describing Adolf Hitler. The point is, we make assumptions. We make assumptions about the world based on incorrect or just sometimes incomplete information. You were convinced I was talking about JFK until that one minor little detail, the date. And then all of a sudden that truth was completely turned on its head. What interests me about this is that our behaviors are governed by our assumptions. It wasn't that long ago that people thought the world was flat, and it changed the behavior of the whole world. There was very little exploration of these days because people were too afraid if they traveled too far, they'd fall off the end. And so they stayed put. Until that one minor little detail, the world is actually round. And it actually changed the behavior of everyone in the world. All of a sudden, trade routes became robust, exploration began, the spread of mathematics, the spread of science. Now, I happen to come from the corporate world, and there's a lot of assumptions made there too. You know, if you think about it, there's not a single product or service on the market today that people can't buy from somebody else for about the same price, about the same quality, about the same service, about the same features, right? But if you ask most businesses, why are your customers your customers, what do they tell you? Price, service, features, quality. In other words, most companies have no clue why their customers are their customers. This to me is fascinating. And the same can be said for almost any organization. You know, in the non-profit world, there's lots of people who need lots of help for all kinds of things, and everybody needs the same money and the same, attention, the same press, etc., etc. Why should anybody choose one over the other? And we assume we know why people give to one thing versus another. So if you don't know why people are actually involved with you, you don't know why people buy from you or give to you, then how do you know what to say or what to do to attract more people? As it turns out, there's only two ways to influence human behavior. You can either manipulate it, or you can inspire it. Examples of manipulation in the business world are things like dropping your price. If you drop your price low enough, people will do business with you, right? This is what the concept behind a sale is. Things are priced to move. Promotions are a manipulation. 2 for 1, free toy on the side. Or in the B2B space, we call it value added. It's the same. It's giving stuff away for free to reduce the risk so that someone will do business with you. It's the same. We see manipulations a lot in marketing. Fear, fantastic manipulator. You can get people to do all kinds of things by scaring them. Peer pressure, wonderful manipulator. 4 to 5 dentists, billions served, right? I'm sure all of us have sat at our desks and had somebody come in to tell us, 70% of the other nonprofits are using our service, why aren't you? Well, maybe 70% of them are idiots. Or maybe 70% of them were offered a price so low they couldn't resist. The point is, we fear that we're missing something or somebody knows something that we don't. And so we engage, we buy, peer pressure. One of my favorite manipulations is aspirational messages. People are always telling you, you have to be aspirational. Give somebody something to aspire to, and that's what will get them to join or help you. Okay, maybe. I always like to joke that you can get somebody to join the gym with an aspirational message, but to get them to go 3 days a week, that requires a little bit of inspiration. And my absolute favorite is novelty, that organizations like to disguise as innovation. Real innovation changes the course of industries, if not society. The fax machine, iTunes, the microwave oven, the light bulb. This is real innovation. Adding a camera to a cell phone, a wonderful feature, it's not innovation. But companies like to tell you, and organizations like to tell you about innovation, it's really just nice little features. Great example of it, in the 1970s. Do you know how many choices of Colgate toothpaste there were in the 1970s? Take a guess. Two choices. Do you know how many there are now? Take a guess. 34. There are 34 different choices of Colgate toothpaste, and that's just Colgate, which means that their competition is offering about the same number of products for about the same price, about the same quality. There's literally hundreds of choices of toothpaste. How do you choose? How do you know which one's right for you? Which one do you give to you? Which one do you buy? There's literally hundreds of choices. I cannot dispute that absolutely every single one of these strategies and tactics work. They do. That's why organizations use them. The problem is, not a single one of them breeds loyalty. The problem is, over the course of time, they cost more money, because somebody has to pay for these things, and they cause more stress both for the buyer and for the seller. It is stressful to try and decide where to give your money, what to buy these days, which cell phone plan to choose. It's called stress. But it's stressful for the sellers as well. It's stressful to try and get people involved with your organization, to find people who know about you, to stand out from the crowd. It's called stress, and this is the world we live in today. This is the norm. There's an alternative. It's called inspiration. And what I've learned is that there are a few leaders, a few companies, and a few organizations that rely vastly more on inspiration than manipulation. They come in all shapes and sizes in all industries, and I'll talk about some of the bigger ones today. You see it in companies like Apple Computers, you see it in companies like Southwest Airlines or Patagonia or BMW, but you see it in great leaders like JFK or Martin Luther King. And what I learned was that regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, every single one of them thinks, acts, and communicates the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was write it down. And I call it the golden circle. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. Why? How? What? It's that simple little idea that distinguishes those who inspire versus everybody else. Let me define the terms quickly. Every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition, your proprietary process, the thing that makes you different or special. But very, very few people or organizations can clearly say why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make money. I don't even mean to achieve your goals. Those are results. By why, I mean what's your purpose, what's your cause, what's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why did you get out of bed this morning? And why should anyone care? As a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. We tell people what we do, we tell them how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a donation, support, whatever. But not the inspiring leaders, not the inspiring organizations. Regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, every single one of them thinks, acts, and communicates from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple a lot just because they're easy to understand. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them, for example, might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Nah. And that is how most organizations communicate. Here's what we do. Here's how we're different, how we're better. Do business with us. Here's our new car. It's got tinted windows, leather seats, great gas mileage. Choose us. Here's our law firm. We win all of our cases. Our lawyers went to all the best schools. Do business with us. Here's our nonprofit organization. We're more involved and more connected, and we're the biggest. Do business with us. Give to us. Here's how Apple actually does it. They start with why. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. No trickery, no manipulations, no celebrity endorsements. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's not what you do that matters, it's why you do it. And what you do simply serves as the tangible proof of what you believe. This is why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple, and a phone from Apple, and an MP3 player from Apple, and a DVR from Apple. Hello, Apple is just a computer company. They're just a company like all of their competition. Dell, HP, Gateway, Compaq, they're all the same. They all have equal and open access to the same talent, the same resources, the same media, the same consultants, the same agencies. They have some products that are great and some that are not, some systems that work and some that don't. It is a zero-sum game. The difference is, Dell, for example, has defined